Remember this? We talked about it at the beginning of the year, SHOT Show 2024. It's the Daniel Defense pistol caliber carbine. We finally got our hands on one. We're gonna tell you all about it. All right, folks, we're gonna get right into this review of the Daniel Defense PCC, but before we do, we wanna remind you, help us out. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let YouTube know that you dig our content. In exchange, we'll share with you a cringy gun meme. I think it's in this cavernous mag well. Oh, that's a good one. So as an overview, this is the first pistol caliber carbine from Daniel Defense. It has a 16-inch cold hammer forged barrel, and it runs on Scorpion EV9 magazines. Ooh, that's a good start. Oh, we're on. Good, lock back. Mag didn't clear. Jingle bells, jingle bells. Yay! Okay. Very nicely done. Special thanks to Blue Force Gear. Hook me up with the GMT or give me tail sling. Good stuff. Come on, baby. Oh, I'm dry. Okay, so this is a good point to talk about real quickly. One of the cooler features about this PCC that isn't present on all pistol caliber carbines is last round bolt hold open. Occasionally, I have seen magazines not drop, but that might have also just been a break-in period thing. So we're gonna keep shooting and see what happens. Oh, last round too. Sweet. Okay. I believe that cycled just fine, Johnny. So just an interesting side note, but the recoil impulse on this gun is really tame. Doesn't beat you up like some 9mm PCCs out there. And it got me wondering, so I looked into the specs a little bit, and it's indicating a hydro buffer. And so I'm gonna crack it open and show you just what we found. Take a look at that. It's our friends at KynSHOT. So no wonder you're getting such excellent recoil mitigation, and you're able to stay on target and keep hitting repeat shots because the dot's not moving, recoil impulse is getting eaten up by the KynSHOT. Very cool piece of kit. Okay, so something that we figured out just from testing the PCC here is that if you're going to drop that magazine, because it's got the kind of a banana shape to it, if you have the gun pointed up at an angle, it doesn't slip out. It'll pop out, but the tip is still hanging on right there. However, if you're more flat or more horizontal, they drop right out. And we had one magazine that Daniel Defense sent with the gun and 3 other magazines that Magpul sent us out, all EV9, all the same. They're all similar in that if you hold the gun up horizontal as opposed to like this, they will drop clear. We're gonna jump into the ergonomics right now. Let's start out at the rear. We've got the traditional Daniel Defense buttstock, and interestingly enough, for those who like bigger butt pads, Daniel Defense has those also. You have a QD well right there in the rear. You also have one right here on the back of the plate. And then moving forward, the grip is traditional Daniel Defense. Their furniture is, we've seen it on the DDM4 V7, is very similar in design to that overall, in fact. Interestingly though, when you get to the controls, this is a fully ambi gun. So you've got your fire control left and right, and you can see same side here, but also of interest, you've got a bolt catch and release and magazine release. So what's nice about that is you can literally push this and pull back to lock back your bolt. Charging handle is ambi. So in the bottom of the lower, we've got a really nice flared mag well. That's going to help you because you've got a little bit different ergonomics as far as the grip angle on the magazine itself. This feels just like an AR-15. So you're going to have some of those same muscle memory or motor function skills that are going to bring you up to a straight draw and insertion of that magazine. The mag well is going to help because it's a little bit curved to have this EV9 magazine, and the mag well is going to help assist that go right in. Moving forward to the rail, you've got pick all the way up and down the top. You've got M-lock all the way around, and then you've got a couple of QD wells also. The rail, I believe, is 13.5. It says 13.5 on the rail. And then, of course, the vertical foregrip on the front that Daniel Defense tends to include, which is a little bit far out for me, even with my gorilla arms, but I included it because that's part of the package. All right, folks, we're going to switch over to the accuracy portion. We're set up at 25 yards, and we're going to shoot 10-shot groups of 4 different types of ammo. Starting off with Federal Premium, this is law enforcement. It's a 124 grain HST, obviously defensive rounds. We've got some Bellum that we've used in the past. This is 124 grain full metal jacket, so nice practice ammo. And the bulk of our testing comes from AAC, and we love this ammo. It's 115 grain full metal jacket. And then we've also got some Nosler Asp, 115 grain. These are jacketed hollow points. So we've got our dot zeroed, and we're gonna shoot those 10-shot groups and see how it does. Wunderbar. Okay, here are the results of our accuracy testing. So once more, 10-shot groups from 25 yards on a bench rest, and the Federal we started with, this is a defensive round, pretty tight group here, maybe 1.25 inches. And then we moved up to the Bellum, and oh man, look at that. That is 1 inch or less. That's 10 shots through one ragged hole. And I would dare to say that the AAC, also full metal jacket, might be even smaller. Without calipers, it's kind of hard to guess, but they are very similar in pattern. 10 shots through that one same hole. And then back to Nosler, which is the Asp defensive round, spread out just a little bit more, but still not bad. I'm impressed that the full metal jacket stayed so tightly grouped. and the Federal and the Nosler are also pretty decent as far as accuracy is concerned. The interesting point is that it's a 16-inch barrel, so you're going to get some good velocity on that, which we'll test next, but it's accurate, man. It's accurate. We'll push out to some distance too and try it out. Folks, want to remind you, I wrote an entire review on the Daniel Defense PCC. It's over at pewpewtactical.com. You can find the link in the description below. All right, we're back at the 50. Let's try this out and see how I do. As we know, the gun is accurate. Well, that almost seemed too easy. Yep, confirmed. Very accurate. All right, we are at the 100. Take a look downrange. And with a 16-inch PCC, let's give it a shot and see if I'm able to hit. I'm gonna walk away now. So we want to check the velocities. Now, everybody's familiar with 9mm in the sense of a handgun, like a great defensive round, right? Let's see what kind of velocity we're going to get using the Daniel H9. We'll just shoot off 5 and see what kind of groups we get. Okay, so average is 1191.5, and I should have started out by telling you that these are AAC 115 grain full metal jacket. So let's try a 16-inch barrel and see what kind of velocities we get on that. All right, so we got a new session. Let's see what a 16-inch barrel does for our 115 grain 9mm. So an average of 1421. So you got around 300 extra feet per second out of the 16-inch barrel versus the handgun. Let's talk about the trigger on the Daniel Defense PCC. There is a little bit of pre-travel, maybe a millimeter. Let's see if I can demonstrate that without setting one off. Yeah, right there. So you got about that much where it's stacking, and then the shot breaks. Reset is outstanding. Very tactile, and you can hear it really well. So once more, it's kind of a stiff trigger. It's on the heavier side, but you get this little bit of a wall right here, and then the shot breaks. And a very solid reset, which returns all the way back to the front. Trusty Lyman digital gauge here. Let's see what our trigger is going to average out at. 5 pounds, 8 ounces. All right, folks, we're going to get into our final thoughts on the Daniel Defense PCC, but before we do, I want to remind you one more time, please hit that like and subscribe button. Let YouTube know that you dig our content. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to come right out and just tell you I really like this gun. I don't often say that, and I get the experience of a lot of different types of guns, and this one is super cool for a lot of different reasons. I'm going to tell you about it. The ergonomics are really solid. I really dig Daniel Defense's furniture, and it absolutely works. You consider that all of the attachment points are here for whatever you want to add to this thing. It really diversifies the potential uses that you could make it out for. If it's a home defense or a truck gun, or if you want to compete in PCCs, that's always an option for you because of the way that they've outfitted this. Accuracy, absolutely outstanding. 1 inch group or less at 25 yards, easily hitting targets. out to 50, 75, and 100 with no problem whatsoever. The accuracy is absolutely there. I'm gonna walk away now. The trigger, it's got a little bit of a strange, like I said, that first load, that first millimeter before you hit a wall and then it breaks. And it's a little bit on the heavier side than I prefer, but I got used to it after using it quite a bit. Ultimately ended up enjoying it quite a bit. The controls are really cool. They are fully ambidextrous, and I mean fully, as in being able to do everything on both sides of the gun. A lot of times you get these kind of passive, okay, well, we'll give you the bolt release, but you can't lock it back on the other side. That type of thing happens quite a bit, but no, they went all in and gave you full ambi controls on this PCC. Shooting impulse. At first, when I threw it up and started shooting, I noticed that it was really flat and was really controllable. My dot was not jumping around. Obviously, I locked it down as best I could, but the absolute lack of a beating that I was taking made me curious about it. And so I reached out to Daniel Defense, found out about the hydro buffer situation and the KynSHOT that we pulled out of the buffer tube. Really makes a difference. You know, that's going to be an upgrade. It's going to cost a little bit more money, but in my estimation, it's well worth it. If you are able to put out some ridiculous controlled pairs in a rapid fashion, that's pretty cool. And I think the KynSHOT has a lot to do with that, along with the ergonomics of the gun. As far as reliability, absolutely flawless when running the gun. There were a couple of situations where I induced a problem because I was press checking. I'm not quite used to how the bolt feels, and sometimes there were a couple of occasions where I would insert a magazine and it wouldn't pick up around when I dropped that bolt. And I think what we figured out with that is it's potentially overstuffing the magazine. So if we downloaded them to 30 as opposed to 35, we definitely had a situation where on occasion the bolt wouldn't go all the way forward and pick one up. So started downloading the mags, didn't have as much of an issue there. That could be just a mag break-in type situation too, where we have brand new magazines for this gun. Outside of that, no reliability issues. The gun had 0 malfunctions, and we were over 500 rounds pretty hot and heavy testing today. Something else that we learned while testing today is kind of an interesting observation about the magazines. The magazines wouldn't clear out when I pressed the mag release. And what we figured out eventually is that it's simply based on the angle of the magazine. And if you can't the PCC up at any little bit of a degree, then it's not going to drop clearly. But we've tested all 4 magazines while holding the gun horizontally, and it absolutely works perfectly. I want to thank my brother Johnny for helping me figure that out. That leads us down to the final equation. We know it's Daniel Defense. We know that it's going to be expensive. How expensive is it? I'm not quite sure. We are filming this in advance of the actual release. They're hoping to have them out in stores for sale very soon, but I don't know that yet. So once again, I'm going to direct you over to the website. Head over to pewpewtactical.com and we will have all the information there. Again, I don't often say that I like a gun a whole lot, and I really enjoyed this one. It's a great shooter, it's extremely accurate, and I know it's probably going to be on the expensive side, but I suspect that it's very much worth it. That's going to be it for us. We appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next one.